All right. Welcome to the Dynasty Pylon show. My name is Martin. I'm here with my good friend Mark.
How's it going, everybody?
We are talking defensive line and defensive player and defensive rookie of the year. And what in the world just happened in Arizona? When I heard about that, I was really stoked and I was happy about it, actually. So I'm actually,
what in the world is going on in Arizona?
Oh, yeah, man, like big name like that. But we'll close that out with him, and we'll get our thoughts on how Arizona is going to look here from here on out with that. But let's talk a little bit about the defensive line, top 10. I have pulled up here, and that is with his brother leading it off, J.J Watt.
Yep.
So you see some of these guys are in red. I see that we have in Sleeper app, the red means that they're dual. So you could put them at defensive line and linebacker. So I thought that was kind of key. If you play Sleeper, you'll have that eligibility. So I thought it was kind of cool. I figured it was kind of key if you play. What's that?
Oh, I just said look at number 8. I didn't realize he was that high. Montez Sweat, Washington football team.
An audio issue. Sorry about that. I was making sure there was no echo on my part. You're good. Number 8, yeah. Sorry.
I realized he was that high. No, you're good.
I was a little distracted here. But yeah, Montez Sweat, dude. Shoot. I was surprised. Even Brian Burns, man, made this list, and it was like nobody knew who he was. He just came out of nowhere. So I think he's wasn't he a rookie this season? Am I not mistaken?
Carolina.
Yeah, 22? Carolina. I think he's a rookie. So to make your top 10 as a rookie, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, the Carolina defense was pretty stellar this season. I mean, even that they don't have, key players like Luke Kuechly from last season and whatnot, or the year before, I should say. Yeah. But I mean, these guys are stepping it up, and
shoes to fill there.
Oh yeah, big time. So, anyways, so let's get on with. I got J.J Watt at number 1. So 43 solo tackles, 10 assists, tackle for loss at 23, which led of the defensive linemen on 23.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So if you had yards on that,
with our new rules, I need to keep J.J Watt, man.
Dude, no doubt,
Holy
man.
crap.
Because if you have tackle for loss and, like, say, depending on how many yards you guys, it's a point for depending on your settings. I think for us, if it's a QB sack every 6 to 5 yards, it's a point. So, not all sacks, not all tackle for loss are negative. Usually at the line of scrimmage, but still like a tackle for loss for even 1 yard. So QB hits at 41, dude. Like, that man was pressuring the QB. Like, it's nuts. And then
that's why I was like, with that new rule we're instating, I'm like,
yeah, man, for sure. And then
insane.
And then pass deflections at 7, forced fumble 2, no fumble recoveries, which I'm surprised he forced 2 of them. I figured he'd recover the ones he forced, but it's all good. He still led with sacks at 15, which basically kept him alive and put him at number 1. I mean, J.J Watt, dude, like, was on fire. I mean, even with the loss of Devin Bush and then the defensive, like, the whole front with the Steelers was just like injuries left and right. And
I know Bud Dupree, Bush on the linebacking squad.
Yeah, dude, they had a lot of issues in the defense this season. So, for him, like I think I was mentioning this last week with the linebackers. We talked about, you gotta find the studs inside the duds. Like Bobby Wagner last week. I was raving about him because he was the only one that made anything, and we all know that Seattle's defense just was horrible. Like, everybody and anybody could just throw on them. Running, not so much, but So yeah, we have another guy, number 2, Desiree Smith. It's also again another slash linebacker slash D line.
For Green Bay.
Yep. 35 solos, 17 assists, tackles for loss at 12, QB hits 23, and pass deflections 2, and forced fumbles at 4, and fumble recoveries at 2, sacks 12.5. So nothing like too crazy high. I mean, maybe solos, but something consistent. And I think that's what kind of kept him at number 2. I know towards the beginning of the season, it wasn't really like Zadarius Smith was there, and like an awe person that you want to pick up. I know a lot of people probably picked them up during free agency or whatnot. So I think Justin had picked him up. So
sounds about right. His defense seems pretty stacked.
Yeah, I think so. I think Justin had him. But it's all good. I mean, he did pretty good for him. And then Aaron Donald, who declared or got awarded a defensive player of the year.
I'm telling you, man, those 2 more forced fumbles must have been really huge.
Well, I guess, man. I mean, dude,
it's the only thing he has over J.J Watt. It's the forced fumbles.
And a lot of people were arguing the fact that why J.J Watt was robbed, man. And he really, if you look at these stats, man, like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just look, it's right there.
So robbed.
That's nuts.
I don't know what the NFL was thinking with some of their awards. I mean, I'm still freaking lost in the sauce when it comes to Evan Ingram making Pro Bowl list. I mean, there was no Pro Bowl that they played, but he still made the list. So I
touchdown.
I don't know. I think just Aaron Donald's a big name, and they're like, you know what? Just give it to him again. I don't know. Because clearly you see J.J Watt was way better in every category. And maybe not assist, but for the most part, I mean, 2 forced fumbles, you barely had them, and assists are like, well, cool, man. But whatever. So anyways, got number 4 JPP, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 34 solos and 21 assists, tackle for loss at 7.
Nice to see him back to Pro Bowl form.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
a little hiatus last year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Shaq Barrett pretty much stole the show last season. So.
I know. That's right. He led the league in sacks last year.
Yep. Yeah. So you're right. It's kind of nice to have him kind of pull a force back there, being top 5.
Yeah.
So tackle for loss at 7, QB hits 14, pass deflections 3, forced fumbles 2, 1 forced fumble recovery, and a sack at 9.5, which not another guy that's not too big but consistent, made his way up there, wasn't too flashy, but he still made a name for himself. All these guys, and then you go to the number 5, another one who wasn't on sleeper eligible dual threat of linebacker defensive. Like, this was another actual lineman who was at solo 30.
Not only that, he's not even a defensive end. He's an actual defensive tackle.
True. I mean, if you look at these guys, these are all guys are at the end of the line.
Yeah. Well, Donald kind of plays both, but I think Buckner's an actual defensive tackle for the Colts. So that's kind of crazy to see him up there.
Right. So, I mean, 37 solos, 21 assists, tied JPP on that. And then with tackle for loss at 10. QB hits at 40. 26. My bad. And pass deflections at 3. And forced fumbles 2, and a fumble recover at 1, and sacks again at 9.5, tying JPP. So, it's always funny, like, seeing DeForest Buckner and Aaron Donald and these actual defensive linemen. They just stick their hand up there and then bat it down.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of funny to seeing these pass deflections there. You expect that from like corners and safeties and whatnot. So I think that's kind of impressive. I do see the linemen.
Some of these guys are like 6'6", so
yeah, I mean they probably
just put their hand up.
Just smack it down.
Yeah,
stuff it. Get out of my house, not today.
Get their own interceptions like Montez Sweat did against Cowboys.
Dude, that was awesome. That was
probably
awesome.
By far like my play of the year, I think.
It was. I think your dad had to suffer the wrath under that week. I believe. I think Aaron had him starting, and I think he beat him with that. I'm not too sure.
Oh
See,
no, I think you're right though. I think you're right because we were celebrating because it was Thanksgiving, and then my dad looks at his phone and he was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Well, hey man,
I was like, "Oh well,
that's fantasy football for you, bro."
That play was nuts.
Yeah, it was. I was actually excited. And then did you notice that on the screen, someone there screwed up? They put Cowboys touchdown rather than Redskins touchdown.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny, man. Like, I'm like, what? I think I even took a picture and sent it to you guys. I'm like, did anybody catch this, or am I the only one that saw this?
I remember you put it in the chat on Sleeper.
Yeah. I was like, cool. Okay, that's
I had to go back and rewind it and like, oh, there it is, Cowboys.
But okay, so but yeah. Anyways, Montez Sweat was at 8. We skipped over Myles Garrett because we got excited.
We also skipped over Leonard Williams, but
Oh well, yeah, we did. So we got excited over Montez Sweat at 8, but
he's just a giant, so it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, most of these guys are like towering over these guys. So
I know Myles Garrett, he's just as huge,
dude. Tell me about it. I think he was my number 1 defensive lineman. So
you see his standing jump that just
went
viral?
I missed that.
Oh, that thing was nuts.
On the combine?
No, he just did one in training, and he posted the video to social media, and it went viral.
I missed it. I'm gonna have to look that up, dude. I didn't get to see that. I just figured standing jump. I figured you meant the event.
64-inch box jump,
dude.
Yeah.
How much does he weigh, man? He's a big boy, too.
Like 265?
God.
I don't know. 64-inch box.
These guys are gods, man. These athletic freaks. But yeah, so Leonard Williams at 6. I think you have him, don't you?
I don't have Leonard Williams now.
No? Well, we made the list, so whoever
I
has
had
him.
Joey Bosa.
Okay. And then J.J. Watt. And who was your linebacker? Leonard, right?
Yeah, Leonard.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm getting the Leonard part confused.
Yeah.
So 29 solos, 28 assists, tackle for loss at 14, QB hits 30, pass deflection at 1, and 4 fumble recovery 1, and 11.5 sacks. So, got that half sack in there. A lot of these guys got a little half sacks in there, so put them in there. And then since we already went over Montez Sweat, Myles Garrett, did we go over him? I'll just say real quick. 33 solos, assist at 15, tackle for loss at 10, QB hits 18, pass deflection at 2, and forced fumbles 4, and fumble recoveries 2 at 12 sacks. Dude, I thought he was going to get it. I thought he was going to win Defensive Player of the Year. The beginning of the season, he was on fire with the sacks, and then it just came to a halt.
Oh, I know.
After he got hit with the COVID scare.
Didn't he miss a game?
He did. It was because of the COVID issue.
Yeah,
so he had
and he just wasn't the same.
No, but he said in an interview when he came back that I think it was like a week or 2 in coming back from the COVID protocol that he was having trouble breathing. He couldn't play the same. I mean, he was still out there, but he definitely felt like after effects of it. So
is he?
Yeah, so I mean that definitely probably took a toll because I remember I was excited for him. He was like defensive line number 1 every week for me, and he was in my lineup every week. He was just a plug and play. I never benched him unless for that COVID issue and I think his bye week. And other than that, he was in my lineup. And so yeah, let's go to the rookie since we covered Montez Sweat. Rookie Brian Burns, dude, I don't think anybody had him. Which is crazy because that means We all suck, and we didn't pick him up. I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't think.
I don't think
Yeah,
anybody
I'm
had him. At solo
pretty sure no one
tackles,
did.
35, 23 assists, tackle for loss at 8. 21 QB hits, doing his job there. Nice. Pass deflections 4, forced fumbles at 3, and 9 sacks. If you look on Sleeper, which is pretty cool, you can click on the profile. And I think if you click on history, you can see who drafted, who picked them up. I thought Sleeper was pretty good. I mean, if you don't have Sleeper, I really suggest taking a look at it. Sleeper is one of the best football apps I've seen. I'm not advertising here. Like I'm not getting paid to do this. I just do this for fun. But I'm
But it
telling
is
you,
true.
Sleeper is elite, man. I heard my fantasy league is pretty good as well with when it comes to customization. But I mean, for what the cost is, Sleeper's pretty good, man. And then ending it at 10 at Harold Landry. Dude, this was a surprise. 46 solos and assists at 23 and tackles for loss at 10, QB hits 16 and pass deflections at 5.
Guess who had him?
Did you really?
No, Justin.
Oh gosh. Well, then he has no excuse. I don't know how he lost.
How did he lose, man?
I have no
Definitely
idea
wasn't
how
his
he
defense. Must have been
because he had Roquan
Smith
Smith too. His defense must have. He just must have played the wrong guys. I don't know.
We played Le'Veon Bell.
Dude, I gave him so much crap for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Man. His defense is pretty stacked.
Yeah, dude. Seemed like it, but he's gonna have to cut some of them. So we'll see how it goes in the offseason. And then last he had a 1 interception, which is pretty impressive.
Hey, Sleeper app is lying right here.
Was that?
So the Sleeper app is lying.
Why? I don't think we have all our stats.
It says Chase Young doesn't have a touchdown. Chase Young had a touchdown?
Yeah, he did.
He had a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
It didn't show it?
No, it says 0 touchdowns.
Well, so much for my rave about how good Sleeper is.
Oh, it says Montez Sweat doesn't have a touchdown either. Maybe they don't have touchdowns updated or something.
I don't know. But we just ruined how hyped we just made Sleeper.
I know, right? It's all Sleeper. After they don't count defensive touchdowns, apparently.
And you mentioned Chase Young, being at for that touchdown. He did pretty good. I mean, for what he did this season as a rookie, man, that's pretty good.
Hey, he did miss, I think, 1 game, 2 games.
Yeah, I think he was injured for like a season or not a season, but like for a game or 2. But for a rookie season, man, he did phenomenal.
But not just that though. When's the last time outside of maybe Nick Bosa last year? Did you see a rookie come in and every single down is getting double teamed? Because every single down, Chase Young was getting double teamed.
I mean, maybe J.J. Watt. I mean, he's still getting double teamed this season.
I'm just saying career. A rookie, though.
Well, no, I mean, I can't think of any.
Well, I said maybe Nick Bosa last year.
Nick Bosa. I mean, I remember, I know this is kind of old, but I remember Mario Williams getting double teamed.
I remember Mario Williams. Yeah, number 1 overall.
I mean, I remember when he was number 1 draft pick, and then Amakong Su was probably another guy. I mean, of course, that's yonder there, but
I'm just saying. So basically, it's been a while. So that's what I'm saying. You look at the numbers he put up, and he's still getting double teamed. That's crazy.
That's his life, man. That's going to be for the rest of his career. I mean, J.J. Watt, like I said,
that's what helps Montez Sweat be in the top 10.
Let's get pressure on him, right?
You can't double team both of them. If you do that,
the defensive line is nasty.
Yeah, I said then the 2 defensive tackles run roughshod too. So.
Dude, it is so. I would hate to be on the other side of that. I was telling people at the beginning of the season, I'm like, dude, Washington's defense is good. They're like, no, they were the second to worst defensive last season. I'm like, yeah, that's last season, but they made some moves and they improved it. And week 3, week 4 or 5, no one was believing. I'm like, bro, telling you, none of these running backs can run on them. And it showed.
And then because of the pass rush, no one could really consistently pass on them either.
Right. I mean, you give them crap and put them in their face, and they can't really. You give them crap, they're not going to be able to throw crap, you know. So
I rode that defense to a championship this year.
Nice. Well, lucky you. I don't want to talk about that championship.
I know.
Let's just say I will never draft Derek Carr ever again in my life.
Did you draft him? I thought you just picked him up.
Draft him, but him up. I don't know. It was an interesting season. Anyway, so speaking of J.J. Watt being double teamed with, for being double teamed, man, 36 solos, 16 assists, 14 tackles for loss, 14 QB hits, 7 pass deflection, which he tied his brother at 7. And they were both leading at pass deflection as linemen, which was pretty impressive. They're pretty good.
The genes.
I guess. just jump up and throw your arms up. Forced fumbles also tied his brother at 2. And fumble recovery 1. Sacks surprisingly only had 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
And interception, and he also had a touchdown. So, I mean,
I think the best part about this year for JJ though is I think he played every single game. When's the last time you could say JJ played every single game of the season?
No, yeah, he played like 1,000 something like snaps, like more than most of these guys.
1,034 defensive snaps. I think the next closest person is Jason Pierre-Paul.
Tanks Online, he said, your car, you loved him all season. Yeah, I did until that week, man. It was against this guy in week 14 championship, and then let me just recap what happened. So, it wasn't the most like disappointing, because I think the biggest disappointment was for me was week 10 Cardinals Buffalo game. I think that Hail Mary with DeAndre Hopkins was just just BS, man. I whatever. Give him props. I'm a Josh Allen fan, but yeah, man, that whole Derek Carr thing, like I think it was he rolled out his first play and broke his thing.
Groin? Yeah.
Well, I was going to say something else, but we'll leave it at that. Anyways, yeah.
And then the following week, the next week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The following week, he comes back and he plays. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, you could have, like, it wasn't even his throwing, like his planting leg either. So, you beat me that week. I think I still could have beaten you had I messed with my lineup, but
that was a Thursday night game too, right?
Yeah. I knew my season was over then.
Because I was at work and I just remember the chat and they're like, "Oh, poor Martin," and I was like, "What happened?"
It's whatever, dude.
I
still took third. You know what's funny is had I won that week, I would have in the championship, and then I would have beaten Javier in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then I would have been back-to-back champ. But
he picked the worst week to have his worst week.
It is what it is, man. That's my little Derek Carr rant. But hey, it happens. I'm surprised I even got that high, losing Dak, losing CMC, all my running backs in and out. Yeah. So, anyways, let's talk about JJ. I think I told you this Sunday or Saturday when I come over and drop off
Sunday.
Mm-hmm. I said hopefully he gets signed this week before this show. And sure enough, he did. I was so excited. I'm like, perfect. And you know, everyone, Monday. And everyone was like, oh, I didn't see it coming. And I'm like, well, why? I don't understand why you don't see it coming. Like, his boy D-Hop is over there. Of course he's going to be reunited with him. He was texting him
Apparently.
throughout. He was texting through his off season. He was like letting him know, "Hey, dude, come over."
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then I
But his
think he had
brother was probably doing the same thing.
yeah, but the Steelers are in a worse situation than the Cardinals. And
Yeah.
from what it seems like, I think JJ just wants to win, and the Cardinals, they're in a win now situation. I really think I
They
said
are.
this 3 seasons ago when they drafted Murray. I'm like, give it another 2 or 3 seasons. These guys are gonna be legit. I'm saying this now in March that they will make NFC Championship.
Well, they're one of the
Saying,
landing spots for Gilmore, the corner from the Patriots.
dude. I mean, are they gonna re-sign Patrick Peterson
I don't
and
think they are.
and Buda
I think that
Baker is he still there, right? Like is
Buda
he
Baker's still there. Buda
yeah,
Baker's
so
not going anywhere. But I think they're letting Peterson go.
well, if they get Gilmore there, that'd be great with Isaiah Simmons finally like kind of breaking out of his little just get his rookie season out of the way. I think this is the year where Isaiah Simmons breaks out. They drafted him at
Oh yeah,
around 8.
he turned
Or
it
not
on at the
around
end of the year.
they picked him with at 8 with the first round. So I think it was funny because I had drafted him.
Yeah, he played musical
With
teams in our league.
he did.
I'm
He's
pretty
a
sure
very
he was
good
at
actor.
least 5 teams.
No, he went to 3. He went to 3.
I
Originally,
thought it
I
was a little
drafted
more
him.
than that.
I drafted him. I know that for sure because I'm like, okay, maybe I keep him with him and Bobby Wagner. But then Jeremy Chin just did it. What he would do, like from what I saw in the Senior Bowl. So I kind of like it was hit money with that, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna keep Myles Garrett. I know I'm gonna keep Bobby Wagner until he retires, as long as he's playing good. Jeremy Chin did fantastic, and then you got, Isaiah Simmons. I was offered. So at the beginning of the season, like week 4 or 5, I was offered J.K. Dobbins, Philip Lindsay, and Deion Jones. So mind me, if anybody who's watching this is a IDP league as well. So, and he wanted Isaiah Simmons and Joe Mixon. Now, Joe Mixon was trade bait for me. I didn't like I didn't like him, but he was a very high priced value guy. And as soon as that offer was for J.K. Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins was it. I was like, yep, done. I'm trading it. I sent it, and sure enough, I don't think the trade lasted 5 minutes in the queue before I even hit accept. And Joe Mixon did nothing for him. Isaiah Simmons did. Isaiah Simmons got burned by Raheem Mostert, and they benched him for the rest of the season. So, like, sweet, man. I just scored a rookie running back who is going to do pretty good.
One.
Yeah, so I did pretty good. And I was excited for that. So, but I sooner or later eventually dropped Deion Jones, just because Fuose Oluokun, his partner, his right side linebacker, was doing just as good as him. I knew between those two, I kept Fuose Oluokun and I dropped Deion Jones. But I had Bobby Wagner. Like, who else would I don't know. So what do you think now? What does this mean as a Cardinals franchise for you? With the signing of J.J. Watt and potentially,
it definitely means that they're going all in for the next year or two.
Right.
Maybe,
it was
I don't know.
what
I was watching something earlier, and they could be
Mhm.
one of the teams that are kind of like the Bucks from last year, where they try to bring, especially with everything that could possibly be happening next week, who knows will be available, where they try to form together what's called a super team to make a run for the Super Bowl. Kind of like what the Bucks did last year with bringing in Brady and then a bunch of other pieces like almost have a Garrett Blunt. Oh God. Leonard Fournette.
Lenny Fournes, man.
The same running style.
Oh man.
Wow. Ooh, that's a blast for the past.
Oh, what's funny, like, real quick. So now you brought LeGarrette Blount. I remember watching him in college in the bowl game. I usually watch the bowl games. I don't really pay
Mhm.
attention during the season at all. I watch the bowl games for sure because I like to see who's gonna come up. I try to see I catch the Senior Bowl. You know, that's where they really shine. And then the combine, I love. And I think I said this last week. I love the combine. It's my mini Olympic. You know, like I get to see what they do and how fast they run, how high they jump, the bench press, all that cool stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I
And
agree.
you know, and we would be watching that right now. So
Mhm.
now we're coming up with BS content to provide
Right.
for the
Top
show.
10 of
Like,
each position.
come on.
It's still fun to go over that stuff, but it's not as fun
It
as being
is.
able to
It
watch the
is.
combine.
Right. But I would definitely rather be talking about, did you see this? Did you see that? Like, I think that this is what's gonna happen. You know, like we got Puka Williams Pro Day coming up here Friday. So I think it's gonna be cool, I guess. I mean, it's not gonna be any better than T-Law's Pro Day and his
Yeah.
pass catching thing. I mean but I mean you get to see something. It's
Yeah.
just it's a crazy year. It robbed us from all the other sports this season or around this time last year, and it robbed us from a couple of weeks during the NFL, and now it's robbing us the combine, which I personally hate because I love the combine. But it is what it is. So I lost my train of thought. I don't know where I was going with this. Oh, LeGarrette
Yeah.
Blunt.
Well,
I
Garrett Blunt.
remember watching it, and then when he punched what's his face in the face during his bowl game after he lost at Ohio State, or was it Boise? I think it was Boise.
Boise State, yeah.
He punched him in the face. LeGarrette Blunt from top prospected running back to not even drafted.
Yep.
I sat there
Not even
through.
just top prospect. I heard he could have been a first rounder.
No,
Easy.
he was one
Yeah.
of the top prospected guys as first rounds. And after he punched that guy, his value went from, oh, he's gonna be a problem. And he didn't even get drafted, dude. I wasted 2 or 3 of my days trying to figure out where I was ready. I really wanted to see where he landed so I could draft him. And he never got drafted. I was like, well, that sucks. Like, I just wasted this whole and he was the only
He still
player I was
got
like,
picked up. He still
he
got picked
did
up.
on the
And
offseason.
then once he finally got a chance, I thought he proved himself that he could play in the NFL.
Because I think the Bucks picked him up or something like
Yeah, the
that.
Buccaneers, yeah. And then he won
And
a Super Bowl with
they
the
did
Patriots.
nothing with him. And no, he played somewhere else, I think, before that, didn't he? No? Am I thinking of Pac-Man
Might have
Jones?
been.
One of them was a Dallas Cowboys. It was that same year, too.
Well, Pac-Man
Pac-Man
Jones.
Jones. But anyways, so yeah, you bring him up, it just reminded me of that. So
but
but
back to
dude,
the Cardinals.
yeah, I was just about to jump in that.
The J.J. Watt signing. You know they didn't even offer him the most money?
Really?
No, the Browns did.
Can you imagine though?
And then the Bills offered the second most money. The Cardinals was the third.
I can't see Bills. But could you imagine having to deal with Richardson, J.J. Watt, and Myles Garrett?
Right?
That would be disgusting. Oh my god, it'd be just as good as the Washington line. Probably better. Probably better. I don't know.
Oh, and Myles Garrett and JJ, yeah.
Yeah, and then Richardson, and then who's that 2-2 guy they got? It sounds can't remember his name, but it sounds like something 2-2. But yeah, they're all pretty good, man. And I just thought it was funny that when he got signed to the Cardinals, I was like, yeah, I expected that. Without a doubt, I think you text me like right when it happened, and you're like, oh, yeah. I didn't expect that. And I'm like, well, why not? I did.
Yeah, I was just happy to text you something. You do not go, that's old news.
Well, that's what we do. Whoever beats someone to the news, it's like, oh, that's old news.
I was like, I don't know if he's going to know it, but I'm going to shoot it to him. I was like, oh, he didn't know. All right, cool.
I think I
old
saw the
news.
notice on Sleeper, but I just didn't
Uh,
text you about it.
uh,
But I think it's I with that signing there, dude, that changes how their defense is gonna look. Hopefully they still have DeAndre Campbell, Isaiah Simmons. I don't even know if Chandler Jones is gonna play with is he gonna play the same? Like he got injured last season.
well, he's definitely gonna play, but we'll see if
I know they're
he's
not I know they're not signing Reddick. I think.
if
I think
if Chandler can be even 75 to 80% of what he was, that'll still be a pretty crazy tandem.
yeah. He's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt there, that's gonna be nasty. Buda Baker, if they could land Gilmore, I think the Cardinals
That's what
all they really need is to draft a good rookie running back. I don't think they need to draft or re-sign Drake. I mean, why would they? Because that would put them at a higher salary cap that they probably already paid for J.J. Watt. So I don't see Drake re-signing with them. I don't see why they would. I mean, if they have a high pick or something, I think I've been saying this. I think they can definitely pick up Travis Etienne. I don't think they'll get
I was gonna say.
Najee Harris.
No, they're not unless they trade up.
I doubt it. Najee Harris will probably be gone by then. More than likely, Travis Etienne. Maybe Kenneth Gainwell or Javonte Williams. Maybe that'd be nice. But
Michael Carter.
What? Michael Carter, he's good. I
think so.
I don't think he's an RB1. I definitely see him as an RB2 behind someone good. Maybe like a good complementary back to someone like, I don't know, hopefully
Derrick Henry.
CMC. I was gonna say Derrick Henry, but they have Evans. But then I thought they didn't really use Evans much.
So I feel like whenever Henry wasn't out there, they put Nichols out there.
True.
Yeah.
So I don't see him there in Tennessee. I mean CMC if they
I just thought it'd be completely contrast. 6'2", 300 pounds. Oh look, 5'8".
Yeah, it would be a total game changer. I mean, it's like some of the guys they go their little fast running backs and then they just beat them up with a big linebacker or a big running back, beat up the linebackers or something. So I always enjoyed these 1-2 punch teams that everyone's kind of switching over to two running backs. So Michael Carter, I don't know because he kind of reminds me of that Philip Lindsay role.
Mm-hmm.
He would be that perfect guy to the main stud back, which would in their case Denver would be Gordon. So I don't know.
Speaking of Philip Lindsay, he's a free agent.
Yeah, I hope he signs somewhere that they use him.
Me too.
He's a good back. I don't think he's been given that opportunity to actually lead. His first two seasons,
when he
did
get the opportunity, he blew up. Like he was good, and then it was like, oh, now we're bringing in Melvin Gordon.
Right.
I know he had a little bit of injury history, but
the turf toe.
I don't know. Yeah, it's turf toe.
Yeah, but I mean,
like,
I don't see why.
A chance, man. He's proven he can do it.
And who
running back is such a weird position, man.
It is. They don't last long. But I was also thinking
3 years
James Robinson might be the new Philip Lindsay. I mean, if he was undrafted, I mean, if the Jags were smart, they would keep him there. But the fact that he's not a drafted guy, what if they do the same thing they did to Lindsay? I mean, I know it's totally two completely different organizations, but could these owners and could these coaches value players like that? Is that why Philip Lindsay wasn't the lead back? I mean, maybe because he was an undrafted prospect. Who knows? But I feel like because of that issue, they just got Melvin Gordon. And we could potentially see the Jags doing the same thing. I hope not. I think James Robinson proved his point. Philip Lindsay proved that he was worth it, but they said we don't want you being the main guy.
How ironic would it be if they bring in Philip Lindsay?
Two Jacks? Dude, that would be great, man. I think that'd be a perfect combo. They're both quick little guys.
Right?
That'd be awesome.
Right?
I love Philip Lindsay. I like watching him. You know, and I just feel bad for the guy that he had his opportunity, and then because Melvin Gordon's ego wanted to play within the same division as the Chargers, he just signed with Denver for cheap money. So
right.
There's a lot going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
You could also say cheap money, but how many people were really offering contracts too? That might have been the highest one he was offered.
Yeah, maybe.
He's a 28-year-old running back.
Maybe. But then like you see other you see other 28-year-olds get drafted as well, or signed as well. I mean, you got old guys like Adrian Peterson getting signed. Then you got
but he's not getting paid. He's not getting paid anywhere what he used to be getting paid.
True. I'm just trying to how old is Leonard Fournette? 26? 26.
I think he's turning 26, or he's just turned 26. Yeah.
Le'Veon was 28, I think, or is he turning 28?
He's not going to get any money.
No, he was garbage.
He doomed himself after he sat out for a year.
He was garbage. Yeah, he pretty much did. And then he went to the Chiefs saying he's going to do all this, and he was still garbage. Like he didn't do anything. Like I don't see, like the shelf life of these running backs. They get beat up. They still think they can play, but in reality, man, the game's changing and they adapt to what you play, old man. Like Todd Gurley's 25, 26 years old with a 45-year-old knee. You know,
Gurley's like 27, 28.
Is he? No.
Yeah.
No, really?
Yeah.
I don't think so, bro. I'm pretty sure he's like 26.
He's not that old. Or he's not that young. You look at him.
I don't know. I think he came in pretty young, dude. I'm gonna look this up now, but I don't think he's 28. 26. 26.
Is he 26?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he does have a 45-year-old knee, though.
That we can agree on.
I'm not arguing that, no.
That we can agree on. And that's why I was so mad when we signed him. Like, I don't want this bum on my team.
I know. You're like, give me any jersey, just not a Gurley one.
God, yeah. We'll see. I really hope they land someone. I will go as low as Chuba Hubbard. Maybe. If you know who that is.
I do not.
Okay.
But he sounds fun.
he was supposed to be like top dollar prospect last season, then he sat and then he came back and then he didn't do much, but I mean I'll go as low as him. It really hurt him this season. I think these new running backs are coming in. They're pretty good. They're all top heavy, as from what we're saying. Last season was like a real good running back class. This one's a good QB receiver class.
Well, I heard there's a lot of top end receivers in this draft.
I mean, yeah, receivers are high on this draft. Next season, I'm not. It's not as good as these two. I mean,
they were saying that the free agent receivers could be hurt by how good this draft is.
Yeah,
because they're like, oh, yeah, we'll draft one. We're not going to pay you.
There's a good amount of these rookies that are coming out receivers. Yep, and they're really good. I mean, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. I know everyone likes him, and Jamar Chase. You know, Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore. Then you got Rashad Bateman. Dude, these guys are they're stellar.
Who's the one out of Florida?
That's a tight end. That's Kyle Pitts.
No, there was a receiver that we were picked at the 19th pick to get out of Florida.
Oh, Terrence Marshall?
I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah, and he's pretty good too. So
and they were saying he could be a legit number one receiver in the NFL. So I was like,
he's Kenny Golladay is not going to be looked at before this.
Oh no, No.
The only time they're going to sign someone like him, Allen Robinson, this is going to hurt him too. I don't think he's going to get the money he wants. Juju's not going to get the money he wants. Kenny Galladay's not going to get the money. All these guys aren't going to get the money they want. I just feel like this changes the whole aspect of how these receivers are coming in. But I do got to say, I love how we went in with defensive linemen and then it just turned into offense. So
running backs. Well, Garrett Blunt.
What? I mean,
that's how excited defensive linemen are, guys.
Well, I mean, they're good. I like them.
I like them too. But I have the number one guys. So.
But if I were to choose on defense, definitely linebackers. But anyways, it's still good to talk about. I mean, because the next couple of weeks, not next week, but the following week after that, things are going to start changing. I don't think anything big is going to happen the first week.
No,
I give it about a week. Yeah, maybe. And then we'll start hearing big names moved. And according to what you said, being cut, I guess. Too. So
cut, traded.
Do you think the whole cap issue had a big fall to this issue? Like how they're
well, because I think before there was an before last season started, there was an expectation going into this off season that they're like, oh, the cap will be here. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out it's going to be down here. So now they're like, oh crap. Yeah, all those moves we made.
So they lowered it, right?
I don't think it got.
I thought they raised it. I'm not sure.
I heard it went up $5 million, but that's pretty minuscule considering how much it was going up the years before.
I mean, I didn't look much into that.
There was talk about it being lowered. Teams are really freaking out about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would freak out too because not only are you doing that, so now you got to think about the health of these players. And they're adding another week.
Oh, I know, right?
Which, are they giving another, like, there's talk that they're going to give them an extra bye. But I think, yeah, I mean, these guys.
They should add a week, only have 2 weeks of preseason, add 1 week, have 2 buys.
2 weeks of preseason?
2 weeks of preseason, add 1 more week to the schedule, and then have 1 extra bye. And that'll still be the same length.
Yeah, that could work. But then that means that the rookies are going to really have to work hard in those 2 weeks. Yeah. But I mean, I guess last season we didn't even have a.
Yeah, last year we didn't have any, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the preseason. Like the season season, it's where you really.
I do and I don't. I like watching some of the later parts of them. I like seeing the younger guys, seeing what they're gonna do. But I hate the whole like a veteran player tore his knee, he's out for the year. Like that sucks, especially if he's on a fantasy team. But.
Well, I mean, I feel like they should play that. Like they play a whole half, and then some teams go like 3 quarters. Which is ridiculous. I think they should just play 1 quarter.
They start off. So usually they do like 1 or 2 drives in the first game, the first quarter in the second game, 2 quarters to 3 quarters in the third game, and then they don't play at all in the fourth game.
You think they do it just for the fans? Like I know for you and I, we like to see the newer guys, but
no, it's more to do with like slowly working them in, and then by the 3rd preseason game, you pretty much know where you are. That's what they say. The 3rd preseason game is the best game to watch because the starters are out there longer, and then they give them the rest by not playing them in the 4th game because they're like, all right, we'll take the week off. Mm-hmm. All you scrubs who want to try to make the team, go out there, do your best.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I enjoy watching these rookies.
Usual. No, I do too.
So I mean, I especially like in dynasty leagues when after you hit the rookie draft, and then you do your rookie draft, and then you either hit or you miss, and then you're either screwed for the season or work with what you got.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
I'm going to be
anyway,
real interested in preseason because I want to know if it's either Kyle Allen or Tyler Henneke is going to be my starting quarterback. Because as of right
I think
now,
you guys draft someone.
because I keep hearing we're not.
I mean,
Apparently, Alex Smith is gone, so
why not Mac Jones?
really gave him a raw deal. Feel bad for that guy.
I think Mac Jones would be good there.
I don't
Or
think
even,
he's not gonna be around with the 19th pick.
you never know. You never know. Some of these guys fall. You really don't know. I mean, I've seen QBs in the past. They just fall to like the
But
last pick. Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, it would take the Jets to go offensive lineman instead of quarterback and still going with Darnold.
If
It
they
would
could work
take
a deal.
the Falcons. It would take the Falcons saying, "Oh, we're still going to ride Matt Ryan for 5 years. Let's not get a
Right.
quarterback yet."
Well,
Like it takes something drastic like that for us because I feel like there's 5, 6 teams ahead of us that are all looking at quarterbacks, and there's only like 5 quarterbacks that are really out there.
yeah. I don't know. Well, we're gonna have to wait till then. But I just feel like there's so many quarterbacks being moved, and then the off season. Like my biggest one is I want to see what the Saints do. We could potentially see Taysom Hill as a starting QB because
Well, I heard
Sean
Drew
Payton
Brees
looked.
is coming back.
Why would they? Okay, why would they redo his contract?
He did that because
Well,
they're
yeah,
100 million over the cap.
to help the team out, but why not? Why not retire, dude?
They can't even afford to bring Jameis Winston back.
I mean, I don't see it. I really don't.
I think they're
There's a
going to be one
lot
of
that's
those
gonna
people
happen.
who they're one of those teams that are really going to be in that massacre situation next week, probably.
I mean, I'm okay with it because I hate them, but it's.
Well,
But
I'm not a really big Saints fan either, but
I'm just being unbiased here. But I just feel like as a team, I don't see that they should have Taysom Hill because that'll hurt a lot of them. Like the Camaro owners, whew, that's gonna suck. But
yeah.
hey, anyways, we really went off the deep
Yeah.
end and we just totally just didn't even talk
Defensive
about
lineman, though.
defensive
Defensive lineman.
linemen. Well, we
Yeah.
did. We gave them their
Big
props.
guys up front, man.
We gave Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. And, we
Hey, I'm
covered that
looking
a little.
forward to that quarterback hit, man.
Oh yeah, I
That's
mean,
going to be a game
it's just a
changer.
small adjustment. We'll see how the league feels about it. I mean, right now it's just a small adjustment. If we could raise it, see how the league feels about it. But I think
But
it's good.
TJ Watt would have an extra 10 points?
Yeah,
It was 0.25, right?
yeah. It's a testing. We're gonna. I think we'll eventually rank everything up. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I think the league needs to be convinced first to see how well it does.
I don't need to be convinced.
Well, yeah,
Easy.
you don't because you have the leader.
No, even without that, though, with the adjustments we're making to offense, we need the defense to kind of hold suit too.
No, I agree, and that's why I increased
the offensive guys are getting like
the
30,
points.
40 points. Defense only getting
Exactly.
5.
That's why I increased all the defensive points so they can have some type of trade value if you decide to throw in a linebacker for a dual package trade. So
yeah,
makes
sense.
Yeah, because you're not going to trade a linebacker for a running back in certain leagues unless this guy's consistent and he puts up the same amount or more numbers than the running back. So yeah. So you have anything else? Did you want to do a mini draft or just whatever? We'll do it whenever, some other time, or
I mean, we're already at an hour.
we can if you want.
I don't care.
All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? You want to go first?
All right.
As
I'll
defensive lineman, we'll draft 2, and then we'll see how they do from next season.
All right. So I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna be different. I don't want to get Martin mad at me.
Well, I mean, you went Homer and just drafted your guys, which is, yeah.
I'm gonna go Montez.
Just say
Sweat.
T.J. Watt.
Oh, Montez Sweat.
You're gonna go Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Montez Sweat. Yeah.
As your number 1 guy. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I went Patrick Queen last week with 1. So
I think next year you take what they did last year, and I think next year both of them are going to be better this year. I really do.
Who's both? DJ?
No, Young, Chase Young.
Oh, okay. All right.
Couldn't even think of his name.
I mean, you're only wearing his jersey, but
yeah.
Okay.
But I think Chase Young's going to get the majority of the double teams, and I just think I don't know. I just have a feeling that Montez Sweat has just barely gotten to the height of his potential. I think it's just uphill from here.
Okay.
I think he's going to explode in a bigger season next year.
So I hear you on that. And for my first pick, if Seattle still sucks defensively next season, I will go Carlos Dunlap. I think that his role started increasing a little bit more. I think he's going to do he's going to have a stronger role now. Like, because he was traded mid-season. So you got to kind of like get your routine in with your teammates, kind of like understand one another, get that chemistry build. But I think next season, I think we see him put up what he did with Cincinnati, and with Bobby Wagner. KJ Wright potentially might be gone, so that could potentially help his role there as another leader. That's if Brooks doesn't step up and be the next guy. But yeah, I see Carlos Dunlap doing big things next season. And then are we doing a snake or are we doing a linear draft here? Just for the 2
we'll
guys.
do snake. Your turn now.
Okay. Well, then, you know what? I'm just going to go Homer and be you like you did last week and pick one of my guys. And I'll pick Myles Garrett.
There you go.
So, yeah, I'll go Carlos Dunlap and Myles Garrett as my 2 linemen this week. And who's your last guy?
I'm gonna go T.J. Watt.
God, man. All right, whatever.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's bringing home Defensive Player of the Year next year. I promise you.
Okay.
Calling it right now.
You're saying okay. You don't think Devin Bush is gonna have anything to do with that?
Well, he might help the situation.
Oh, he might help.
Yeah, well, if he's there, he's blitzing too.
All right. Well, anyways, there you have it. That's our defensive line. Went into God knows where with offense, but it's all right. This is they took the combine away from us. Thank you, COVID. Or else we would be talking about that. However, Friday we see Puka Williams from Kansas City. Their pro day is happening this Friday. If you're interested in watching that.
Kansas City.
Kansas State University. Or is it Kansas? Kansas City, my bad. I had the word right, all right. But anyways, Puka Williams is pro day that day. Just to see him, see how he does. But anyways, also if that's pretty much it until March 17th, nothing really going on. So yeah. Also catch the Morning Spike Sunday mornings with Tank, Kramer, and Fredo. And I think this week they're going to be covering receivers, and that should be interesting. I really want to hear where their wacky minds in their Chicago Bears talk
Allen Robinson
leads to. If they don't talk about that, they might as well just call it the Allen Robinson Show.
Right.
Because I know they're going to hit hard on that. They're probably crying internally that they're losing him.
They could bring Alshon Jeffrey back. He's available.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? That's probably all they can afford. So
Probably.
so yeah, and then I think they have another show Thursday nights. It's Did We Become Just Best Friends? That's Thursday nights. Catch them as well. So, anyways, we'll be back next week talking about defensive backs, and that is with my boy Jeremy Chin.
Yeah.
So yeah, that concludes it. Any last words you gotta say tonight before we go to close it out? No.
I don't know. Just I'm sorry, Alex Smith. We did you wrong.
Poor guy, man. All right. Well, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night, guys.
All right.